Right. I will say one thing, by the way. I just want to, this is important. What are we doing next? Where's the industry going now? I don't know if you want to mind me mentioning this last one. Where's the industry going now? We have no trade shows. And if you do, okay, great. I don't know. I'm not personally going to any trade shows right now. And I spoke to a lot of people. Some people are starting to travel. Some are being allowed into their buildings. Some that don't want to even see you. You're an outsider. We don't want to see you. My father does coach supervisions. The rules, who can come into the plant, who can't. There have been a lot of transitions where they have, okay, this hour, they used to have different times of the week where people would be on different crews running different hours of the day. Now they've segregated them into pods just to try to avoid, if someone gets sick, the whole company doesn't have to shut down. So what are we doing with trade shows? How are we building that up? So recently I went to an online trade show.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I was somewhat shocked. Now, online trade show was a great show. It was for furniture dealers to meet with manufacturers, some buyers. And what was interesting, what this company did is we ended up setting up appointments before, which you could do in the past at other shows. You could set up appointments. They do work, they don't work. Sometimes just cold call and meet the person. You didn't know them, fine. Here you were forced, and even during the show, you could actually set up appointments. And a lot of had this, interaction with video. Some of them were smart and actually put a trade booth, not a trade booth, their showroom right behind them, and actually showed me products. Those got my attention more. But I'll tell you what was great. For those 15 minutes, there was no outside interruption whatsoever. I was exhausted after that day, like I was exhausted after a normal trade show. But I knew that when I was speaking to the person was speaking to me for those 15 minutes, those 10 minutes, those 20 minutes, there was no one else interrupting. And I think the quality of that, even though it was in person, I couldn't feel the product. I need to feel that product. If you're doing something that's material, you want to feel it. Sure. If you're not material, you're selling a service, you don't have to feel it. Right. So it depends which industries, how well it's going to work. But here was an industry that was furniture. We had to feel it. But I was able to see things, and I was able to speak to the person. I was able to feel that person's talking to me and not like his biggest client just walking in the door. Sorry, I got to reach him. And you see his eyes moving over that way. But I shockingly came out of that meeting saying, wow, I feel that I was listened to. I feel I gained. And I think there is some opportunity here to help the industry of doing some of these virtual shows if they're done right. The biggest mistake that they did was we could actually chat with each other before the meeting. But the biggest problem was that we couldn't get their information. They forgot to get the information to pick, okay, this is the guy. You hooked up with the guy. So give me his phone number and give me his email.
Okay, you can't ask for it, or there's no.
You had to ask for it at every point. It was ridiculous. Like if we hooked up with each other, so give me the company, the organization that organized the show should have automatically said, okay, here are the people, here's their name, here's their phone number, so you can follow up with them. That was a marketing mistake on their point. I think anyone who does that should ask, because usually go to show something.
Business card or whatever, yeah.
Sure. A business card or their tag or something, or you can get, you're never going to get, unless you're a vendor, maybe you'll get the list. Some of them offer you the whole list of all their information after the show. Most don't. The big ones, they don't. So if you're hooking up with someone, the automatic should give you that basic data so you can communicate with them afterwards. Otherwise, how do you know them and how do they know you? I mean, I have a notebook here with names and some numbers, but I don't have all the information still now. That was the lack of the show. Everyone was complaining about that. You could have everything done, and that's a learning curve. The industry is going to have a learning curve now. I don't blame them. They did a phenomenal job. I do think that don't be hesitant not to get on some of these things, especially if you're services. So what's the difference to you?
Right. Service. Would you think that they would do this instead of the physical, like instead of actually having to fly somewhere and go there because you don't have to physically feel a product?
I think in the long term, being that a lot of people are going virtual now, I think in the long term, you're never going to get rid of the shows because you need that. And people like to be entertained and they like to do the write-offs and they like to have a good time. So it becomes part of the looking forward to getting out of the office time. I think in the long run, it's not something to be given up. It's a great thing to follow up with or to pre-follow the show. Or there's so many people again, remember I said, you couldn't get the attention of the person very well. It's very hard when you have all this noise around you, people coming and going and others says, how do you get your attention? I think, by the way, the follow-up, a meeting with people this way and closing deals has to start going on more often. If it hasn't, a lot of people have been convinced that this will be. Now, what's going to be with office furniture? That's my biggest fear. A lot of people are going to start transitioning into this. Yeah, teamwork, you still need that personal interaction. When will be post-COVID?
Do you think at least though, like you have an introduction, you met them, so you're interested enough that it's worth it now to then fly or travel to wherever that person is, and then you can kind of investigate it? Or it's still it's better if they were just there?
You need that interaction, personal interaction. I'm still, look, I'm a very relationship type of person.
Sure. No, of course.
So that's my opinion. I don't think you can seal the deal and you see the person's full body language. You've not seen my hands here moving, right? But if you see someone going like this, the body language is, my rabbi told me I'm on the defense.
Sure.
And now you can read books that tell you about body language and sales, and you can go with your gut feeling, but I don't think you get that on the phone, on a video. Even I don't think you really get that communication
I definitely hear
of you can trust that guy or not. Maybe through some of his questionings you could, or her, you can get that. Maybe. I think a body language has a lot to do with it. But I think that's something that, if you have a comment about this, I think people should post this on wherever you're going to be posting this. What do they feel? Where's the long run going to be? It's a great question you have, Max. I mean, what's the question? What is going to be in the long run? Is this going to kill every trade show? Or is this just another tool that we're going to learn now, we're going to get used to, of reinforcing our business relationships? I don't think it's something that 100% you can rely on all day long. It's easier, by the way, to talk to someone, I think, this way.
Right. Like everything's got its pros and cons, right? You get that attention, however, you're lacking in other ways.
Right. So I think it's, if I have a question and I want to do something out of this, sometimes they're going to call you 20 times a day. You don't want to be nagging with them all 20 times a day. Send me an email. But email gets here's the problem with emails. I've seen that always misinterpreted. Someone could misinterpret a single line, who by mistake you sent it with a caps, and they're so, look, here's my attitude. My attitude is, if I spell the letter wrong, let it go. Don't be nitpicking on someone every day. Let it go. If someone did the caps, he's not screaming at you. Now emojis are the thing, I guess. David, and that's maybe the reason why I want to show my feelings. I can't show my feelings through words. I can't show my feelings even on a video that has me from neck up. There's a lot of the body language has to do with the body, seeing the whole person. So again, and then there's the cases. You don't judge a book by the cover.
Yeah.
So
yeah.